Welcome, restoration professionals, to Restoration Minutes, your source for industry information and education. Be sure to like and rate us if you enjoy the content we provide.
Hey Restoration World, it's Kayla McGowan, Editor-in-Chief of R&R, and the one who helps spearhead the experience events. I just wanted to first hop on and just say hi. And if you aren't familiar with who R&R Magazine is, we are a leading publication in the restoration and remediation world, and we provide technical insights, lessons from the field, case studies, white papers, ask the experts, and we wanted to personally invite you to come and subscribe or just view the content and let us know what you think. And if there's things that you'd like covered, we'd be more than happy to cover those topics for you. And of course, the experience takes place once a year, every year in Las Vegas, the week of Labor Day. And we would love to have you join us this year at the Paris in Las Vegas. We hope to see you soon. And everybody out there, take care.
All right, welcome in. This week we have Kayla McGowan with R&R Magazine here with us, and she's been on a big adventure this past week with one of our partners that we train a lot with, and I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about that. Welcome in, Kayla. How you doing?
Hey Mike, how are you?
Doing good. Doing
Thank
good.
you for having me on.
Oh no, we're excited. We have tried to reach out, through the podcast and get people from all different areas of our industry, and so you're the very first, magazine that we've had on, obviously, and that's because I've gotten to know you quite a bit over the last couple of months, and looking forward to getting to know you more. But you guys do so much in getting information out there for the industry. It's amazing. I think everybody doesn't appreciate it enough.
Yeah, I would definitely say first, thank you for letting me be the first one to come on. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome working with you. But for us, our biggest thing is making sure that we're spreading the right information, both technical, personal, whatever the case may be. It's a variety, but I know sometimes people do get busy. But that's the best way to see what's going on in the industry, from press releases to maybe new and improved ways of doing things. And then hearing from people about their stories. I think those are some of the most relatable things that people like to read or like to hear about, is what other people in our industry go through. But yeah, if for those of you listening, if you didn't know, Mike actually writes for me too. He just recently started writing for us, and he shared some interesting stuff. And I think for those listening, you have the opportunity to be part of that too. I think sometimes when people look at publications or editorial, they don't think that it's something that they could do, but we really think that it's for anybody, honestly. We can help you if you don't know how to write, but really what's most important is helping, just push the industry forward. And we can't do that without our industry professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of guys that, seem to get intimidated, but if you got knowledge in your head, especially if you think it's something that you feel like is, share worthy, then I definitely recommend you guys do it. But I think one of the biggest things that seems to be hindering this industry is people thinking that they have a trade secret. And so they will tell their staff that they're not allowed to. While you're working for me, you can't do this and you can't do that. And, I'm afraid you're going to share too much and teach somebody else. And it's like, there's enough to go around if you're good at what you do, but B, allow the way you promote growth in the industry is you allow your people to grow. And part of that is allowing them, if they are a teacher mindset, is to allow them to teach. When you hold people back, that's when they start looking for other jobs. And I don't know how to get that through certain owners' heads that I work with, that they're very protective. And I get it. This industry, because we are small, even though we're the biggest small that you could think of, at least, we think of that way because we are a big industry, but we're really small. Like, I know so many people, but if I go into any other type of field, then I probably wouldn't know near as many as people, just because of the way that we're structured and all the conferences that we have that are related. But when you restrict growth of your staff, especially now, because they're going to get picked off. They're going to start looking, for where they'll get appreciated, where they can bloom, where they can flourish and grow. And I think that's a great thing, is for you to allow your people to A, get the magazine, and B, participate if they want to write an article, do interviews, or get involved in the industry, however it is.
Yeah, 100%. And I would definitely say, honestly, we've been around for quite some time. And to your point, there's no secret. we might all do things a little differently, but we do the same thing, right? I mean, let's be real. The biggest thing is customer service and making sure that we provide a healthy and livable space or business for those that we serve. Yeah, we may specialize in fire, water, mold, bio, whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, we should be sharing our quote unquote secrets if there are any, because that's what helps us advance forward, right? Let's look at how many contractors there are in the space opposed to people in the world, just in the United States. We don't compare. So even if all of the secrets are shared, we still can't serve everybody at the same time, right? There's just millions and millions of people, and there's what, 40, 50,000 contractors. Like, the
Yeah.
math there shows that no secret is worth that value, honestly, it's really not.
Yeah, absolutely. This, like you said, the secret sauce is your own people, your employees, your staff that support you day in, day out, and that you support. And then, like you said, your client relationships. That is paramount to success, is those two things. It's not, how you dry, how you document. It's real. I mean, because we can all drive a building. We all work by the same standards. So it's like, yeah, you may have went out and bought this new tricky piece of equipment. Like, I remember a few years ago, guys are trying the thermal panels, but that's not a secret, so that's, allow your guys to share. Well, what are some cool things that you guys are doing as a magazine? I know you were telling me about one that's going to be announced in January, I believe. And, tell us a little bit about the migration of the magazine from going, mostly print to now more digital and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with the digital and print. So print, we do one a year. We'll do one every September, so it'll be a pretty hefty print magazine. But we saw that the demand was at the fingertips, right? We've all changed to digital, right? And if you really wanted to have it, you can print it, you can download it, you can save it, whatever you like. But it's easier for people to get things ahead of time, right? Instead of just waiting for it to be printed. And then the one print magazine a year does really, really well. It was really to make sure we stayed with the times, you know? I know that a lot of magazines, not just in our space, but in other industries, they've gone digital because there's just not that demand anymore. I do know a lot of people in the space though who hold on to every magazine. And so, and I get it, right? Because you can write in there, you can highlight. It's something that you can just keep on your bookshelf or your desk and you can look at it. But let's face it, we're in the digital world. It also makes it a lot easier to read if you see it on social media or in a newsletter or somebody says, "Hey, I just wrote this article." It's instant, right? Copy, paste, bam. It doesn't cost anything for you to read articles either. It didn't cost anything for print either, but you can get that right away. If I tell you that something's going live today, it's going live today and you can access it today. And then we are taking call for speaker papers right now. We will announce who we've selected probably late January. And then we also have the Women in Restoration Award that's going to open up nominations here in the next week or two, and that will go through January. The winner will actually be announced at the fall experience, and we're going to have a women in restoration panel, and they will have a seat on that panel. So, a lot of fun stuff coming, a couple little changes here and there. We would usually announce the women in restoration in the spring. We will still celebrate women in restoration in April as it's, a celebratory month for women. But other than that, I think it's really just trying to make sure that we're getting ahead on, the seasons that are coming. Also, I think culture is a really big thing. So we're really focusing on, how businesses can better themselves with just the culture, what they offer to their employees, right? You said something really big that, it's your people. The secret sauce is your people.
Yeah.
And this last week when I trained with Leanne and Chris at Global Catastrophe Training, one of the owners that came by, his name's Matt Ford, he mentioned that, investing in your people is priceless. And he shared that on social media. And I was like, that's that's the most important thing. Those are wise words. Invest in your people now. They will be bought in. They will love the company and they will feel valued and appreciated, which will help them help you grow your business.
Yep. Man, matter of fact, I think he posted or someone else posted last week, a saying that I really, really liked. It was like, you know, you train your people and then they leave you, or would you rather your people leave you, stay that you hadn't trained?
Yeah.
Something to that effect, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, they hit the nail right there." I mean, I love that. So, I mean, that's exactly right because you do have a lot of these guys, that are like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna spend 3 grand to put my guy through CRC training or do some specialty training," whatever the case may be. But then he's gonna take that. Well, A, are you paying him what the market, lays out for that guy? I mean, he is taking on this training. He's wanting to, elevate his career, and that's just gonna make you a better company. But you can't just keep paying him like he's, an assistant tech. You got to pay him, for the position and the training and the job in which he performs, because that's why guys leave. People leave for 2 things: A, economics, and B, culture, and so if you don't train your guys, you don't encourage growth, you don't have room for growth, well, there's your culture right there, and that's before you even get into things about how people treat their employees. That's just their own individual growth, and especially dealing I've taught a lot of leadership classes over my time, and the hardest thing to get people that are just now getting into leadership to understand is I'm always trying to train my replacement. And people think that's crazy when they've never heard the concept. And it's like, okay, how am I going to move up if I don't have someone that can fill my shoes? So my job is to always try to get someone to the point where they can at least take on 50%, then 75%, and then hopefully 100% of my job. That and it makes my life a little bit easier. I sleep a little bit when I could get things done a lot simpler than working 16 hours a day that I've done it a lot of days in this industry. So when you guys are looking for the women in the industry, are you going to have different categories, or is it just we're going to have like a woman awards? By that, I mean, are you going to have like, female technician, female like managerial or operational level, and then ownership level, that kind of a thing?
It's just one, but there's specific qualifications. So they have to be in the industry for a minimum of 10 years. They have to have, certifications and recognitions. They have to have an undeniable impact on their community. They can nominate themselves or their peers can. And then actually what happens is we take all the information that's gathered in the application process and then we send it to a group of panelists who actually go through all of the um, submissions and they scale them on all of the submission points. And then what happens is we tally them up and then there's a winner. So the last couple of years, it's been really close, like within 5 or 10 points. Like it's because it's so competitive and the women who have accomplished so many things. I mean, if you look at the women who have won this award, they've done a lot of time in this industry and
Oh, yeah.
they've really given back. So, like Anissa Coy was our inaugural winner, and she's been in the industry, gosh, for probably 30 years, I would imagine. And she's an educator. She's still in the field. She has undeniable impact. And then, there's Katie Smith and I think Lori Jones and I think there's a Lori Young. I mean, there's so many people. Katie Smith, if I didn't already mention her, and then Lisa or Leslie Anderson won last year, right? And so we just finally had our 10 years of women. So this award is still really new, right? And there's so much opportunity and it doesn't matter what position you hold. That's not, you know, um, a category or criteria that hinders anything. It's just somebody who's been in the industry for 10 years, over 10 years and has an undeniable impact. Um, when that comes out, I'll be sure to share that with you if you wanted to add it to a link to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and the submissions are open for a little over a month. The holidays are coming. We always open it before the holidays, but we give it well into January. And then what happens is we go through them and make sure that, hey, here's the complete submissions, here's the incomplete submissions, and we separate all those out, build a scorecard for the judges and give them the time to go through it, right? We're not talking like there's only 5 people. I think last year we had upwards of 100 submissions that our judges had to go through. And so we want them to take the time to make sure that they're able to go through every single submission and make sure that if they have any questions, that we get those questions answered so that they can score appropriately.
Any of you guys that are listening, these women are tough. I mean, you got to think, A, they're making it in what's considered a man's world, of contractors. But I will tell you from my experience, I think I hired my first female technician back in 2010, something like that. Ended up being one of the best I've ever worked for. I just left a company that had a female project manager I hired. A friend of mine, and Paul actually introduced her to us, and she was great. And the office manager that was there when I got there, she was great. Typically what you'll find, if any of you guys are old school, I will tell you that they are better with your clients than the guys are in general. I mean, it just is. It's a softer landing, especially when someone's experiencing a loss. And, it is one of those things that's amazing because they do have to work harder, especially the higher up that they go in the industry and the managerial, because it is a man's world, and it's changing. It's changing quick. I see a lot more women now in the industry than ever, but you've got to respect these ladies that have decided to take on this crazy industry that we're all, you know, and, I think they have a lot to contribute. And the biggest thing is like the ones I've seen lately that have taken managerial levels and, we're talking like presidential, or ownership levels. Man, they treat their people better, than the guys have been, and so a lot of people are running to go work for these people, so, definitely look out for the women in this industry. They are cranking it.
I will definitely say we have seen a lot of changes since I've been in the industry for 10 years, and it's the shift. It happens in every industry. It happens probably every 10 or 15 years anyway. There's always a shift, right? But I would definitely say that, a lot of the women in this space, they're not just like the motherly or like
Oh,
nurturing. They
no.
can be really tough to your point. Like some of the women that I have met are just like so strong and just they dive in and they're like, "You know what? I can do this too." There's no specific role for anybody in this space. Like if you want to accomplish it, you can. And we just had a technician award winner. She's the first female to win that award. And I told her, I said, "I could see you winning the Women in Restoration award," right? She started as a general laborer slash tech, and now she's their PM in a span of 4 years, and I'm like, "If you're only 4 years in, imagine what you can do in the next 4 to 10 years." Like, it's possible, you know? But us as women, I think too, and even men, there's some type of will slash like competition in your head, right? To just be the best that you can be all the time. And so I definitely will say I've noticed that a little bit too. It's like we are helping each other be a little bit better than we were yesterday, right? That we're always pushing the envelope a little bit more. And I'm seeing that a lot with the women. I'm also seeing it with the younger generation, some of them that are coming in. Last week there was I believe his name is Cody from Matt's team, been in the industry for 3 months, and he was the PM for their group, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
Right, he just dove right in. I'm sure there was some nerve-wracking things. I think we all faced that. I was my team's PM, right? And I was like, "Wait, how do you do this?" I asked questions, right? And he
That's
did
how you
too. He did
learn.
a really, really great job. And to your point, what Matt said, invest in your people. I mean, being on the job for 3 months and him sending him there says so much about their company and their culture. And he did a really great job. Their team actually won the competition.
Oh, wow.
So if he ever had any self-doubt, I'm sure he didn't have any after that. He did a really great job. I also had one of Matt's team members on my team, one of his employees on my team, and he was really intelligent, just a go-getter. Whatever you need to do, let's do it. We had some really great people on our team. Everybody worked so well together, and so it's just really cool to see how we help, level each other up. There was only 2 women there, myself and Daniela from Action Restoration, and didn't matter. We didn't see men, women, we saw people. That was it. we were in there for with a mission to complete the job as best as we could, and that's one thing that I really love about this industry. Yes, sometimes there's differentiators, right? Women are a little bit more nurturing. Sometimes they're the people who talk to your customers, right? Just because women have that like motherly nature, whether they're a mother or not. And, the men usually are the tough ones that come in and say like, "No, this is what we're gonna do." But I will definitely say we've also swapped roles a lot too. I think
Yep.
that's one of the coolest things in our industry is we've learned from one another. And so anybody who's listening to this is capable of being, the strong-willed one and the nurturing, calming voice in a time of need. And when we're in the field, we're all human. Doesn't matter tall, short, skinny, brand new to the industry, men, women, whatever the case may be, we can all do the job as long as we have a great team around us. And this last week really did show that. I've had the opportunity this year to train a couple of times hands on. And a while back, I did a podcast when I was at Microbial Warrior, and I got really emotional because I was like, wow, I don't know any of these people. I'm the editor in chief of a magazine, never have been in the field, but that didn't matter to them, you know? And for me, that shows what type of industry we have is, we do care. We care about our teams, we care about the people we serve. And if you can help elevate the people in the field with you, you guys can get the job done. And that's really what this year has shown me. I never had a doubt about it, but being able to live it has been really, really cool, I will say.
Well, showing that, like you said, you're the editor in chief of a magazine, but the fact that you're able to dive in there, sleep in the campers and take the cold showers and actually figure out shows that you really have a passion about this industry and not just the media side of things. So I think that's amazing, because too oftentimes you see people that, that they're stuck in, the one role or another. And by that, it's whether you're an adjuster or you're in management or you're in technicians, the people are unwilling to kind of get out of their comfort zone sometimes. And I think that's how we grow. I definitely believe in evolve or die, as a person and professionally and everything else. And so it's one of those things that if you don't try something new, just like most of us though in this industry, we didn't come here because we chose it when we were a kid. Oh, I want to grow up and be a restorer. Some of us fell into this thing by accident or desperation for a job or something. And then we found, oh my God, I love this. I have a passion for it. And so it's definitely a different industry. But I think that's what gives it. There's so many things that you can do that are different in this industry and still be in this industry, because too many times I've got friends that get stuck in other industries and there's really not a lot of variation, and so they end up having to make some life-changing decisions to completely leave the industry that they're in to follow something that they're more passionate about. Whereas here, if you're passionate about sales or actually getting your hands dirty or, managing and leading others, there's so many different avenues that you can go into in this industry that it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, when I talk to people, I tell them, there's like HR, there's, operations, there's project management, there's marketing, there, to your point, sales. There's just so many different things that help make a business run. And so we're just in a different industry. So, I think to your point, it's like there's something for everybody. And yet I stumbled upon this industry. Uh, I was actually moving to Las Vegas and I found a job at IICRC. And so it was just by chance, right? But it's something that I fell in love with, and so I will definitely say I did not grow up thinking I was gonna be in this industry at all, but it's been one of the best things that's happened to me, honestly. It's proven to me that trades are so essential in our daily lives, period. Doesn't matter what you do in your life, you could be an accountant for, you know, Google, but it still affects you, right? If you have some type of loss, the trade world matters. And not just what we do, but plumbing, electricians, they all are a trade too. And we're very valuable and essential to the world that we live in.
yeah, and hopefully next year our industry will be a recognized trade. That I think that's something that's being pushed through right now. So hopefully that'll actually occur. So you guys went from 2 trade shows a year to next year you just have 1, correct? Tell us a
Yes,
little bit about
yes.
that and when it is.
Yeah, so we have had a spring show and a fall show, every year since before we ever owned the show. When it was the Cooper show, it was spring and fall. But this last year really proved to us how much is going on in the spring. And I myself was on the road for 5 weeks straight, and that was including the experience, right? Um, and with the lay of the land, the way things have been going, we really wanted to take a step back and say, okay, is this logical right now for the space that we're in? And it's really not. It's not logical when we can have one in the fall that is bigger. It has more content. We are able to potentially have 3 days of keynote instead of two. There's some things that we can do that we otherwise couldn't have done with having both. Um, I will say though, there is a potential of something happening in the spring of 2027. We're working on it as a team. As soon as I can announce it, I will announce it. But the reason we really did it is we looked at the industry, and right now, let's face it, the industry has seen a rough couple of years, which means that pockets are a little tighter, right? The decisions that you're making are not just based on where you want to be, it's based on the financial burden, right? And we really talked as a team and we said, "Is it fair to put on that financial burden to our industry twice a year?" It's not. It's really not. And so, we're not saying that the spring show is gonna be gone forever, but for 26, we're scaling back and just having one in the fall. It also allows us to go to other shows that we otherwise may have not been able to attend. And so, I think for the industry, it just made sense. That was a decision that we were like, "Hey, we really need to make sure that we're giving the industry what they want, and, they can capitalize on going to other shows as well." Because last year there was a couple of shows that overlapped and ours was one of them. And so, we wanted to really make sure we were giving back in a way that allowed the industry to still come to the experience in the fall, but also attend some of the other stuff in the spring that they may otherwise not have had the chance to last year or the years before because they were coming to the experience, right? We've got RIA, we had PLRB, we had Interconnect move to the end of March because of the fires. And so there was a span where those shows were all going on within days of each other. And then we have the franchise shows. So that was just a decision that we made. I also think that, we love Florida. So we're not saying that we're not going to ever go back to Florida, but for 26, just one in the fall. And then you guys can all stay tuned for a 27 announcement.
And where is the one this year, next year, 26?
Yes, we are at the Paris Hotel and Casino September 9th through 11th. We'll be there for the next few years, but I think people really like that space. Everything is really tight and close to each other. We will be the only conference in the convention center area, and we have that entire space. So it'll be really nice to be able to just be in that one area. This last year at Caesars Forums, there was some other stuff going on. There was a lot of people, right? So this year we're going to be in a space that's just all us cleaners and restorers and inspectors and, indoor air specialists and things like that will all be in a nice space together. And I'm really excited for that one. I love that location. Everything's in there, food, shopping, your hotel, the convention center. And, as a local Las Vegan, I really don't like to go to the Strip that much, but the Paris is a good one to go to because everything's right there.
Yeah, it's in a good spot. And Caesars is so huge, man. You can get lost, much less when there's like multiple conventions going on at the same time. I've been there a couple of times for events, and oh my God, man, it is a hike just to get back there if you're staying at the hotel too. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
march. I mean, you got to leave 30 minutes before you got to be anywhere.
Well, and it's really confusing too, like for people who have never been to the Caesars Forum Convention Center, it's not in Caesars Palace, right? So if you stay at Caesars Palace, to your point, it's a 30-minute walk. The closest two hotels were the Link and the Harrah's. And even though they're still close, it's still a walk. Like they designed it very strategically to keep you in that space, right? They that's the way they designed it was to keep you in that space. And then you kind of self-reflect and say, "Hey, do I really wanna walk back to my room? No, I'll just stay here," type of thing. But you see that a lot of, convention centers, like, even some of them at the Gaylords, right? The Gaylords have everything in them, but the convention center is so far from your room, from the
Yeah.
food, and they do that so that you stay in the space all day or as long as you can so you're not walking back and forth. It's easy, right,
Mm,
to walk away to your
makes
room if
sense.
it's, like, down the hall.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, we the front 2 quarters, like you said, of the year are always so front loaded, but we try to do we're doing our big event this year at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we did it the first week of February. I mean, and that's because once March gets here, everything starts. March, April, May, and then even a couple into June, and people's budgets are stretched thin, and the travel, like you said, there's so many different shows. And then you get like off industry shows that a lot of people go to. You get the heavy equipment one that's out in Vegas every year, where it has all the rental companies and new things that are coming out. And then you got the indoor air quality, IAQA. Then you got NADCO, because I think I finally let mine lapse this year, but because I hadn't cleaned ducts in a while. You get all these other smaller offshoot ones that are also happening during that time. It's like, man, the first 2 quarters, I mean, as coming from the restoration contractor world just, a few months back, I mean, trying to sit down and pick which ones, I mean, we're going to be at and what kind of level of representation we're going to be at each show is daunting. I mean, inexpensive. I mean, like you
Mhm.
say. So I think trying to go down to one a year is a good deal. That's for sure. Well, Kayla, do you have anything else you'd like to share while we're on here this morning?
I would just like to say, for those of you listening, no matter where you are in the industry, there's something out there for you, no matter where you are in your career, whether it's now picking up writing or joining Facebook groups or going to a different hands-on training. Those things will help you level up in your career. You're taking this advice from somebody who's just now started to be able to do hands-on stuff, and it's been phenomenal. It's really changed my mind, it's changed the way I've seen things, and I think to your point, Mike, you brought up, like, adjusters and just maybe even admin and whoever. I challenge you guys to do something like that. Step outside of your comfort zone so that you can learn about what others do in your company, right? Or in the industry. It's definitely changed the way I see things. The appreciation I had has grown even bigger. I didn't even think that that was possible. But, I was lugging around equipment last week, right? I was setting fans and dehues and air scrubbers and things. And it's a process. And, people like Mike and Chris and Leanne and Lane and Nelson and all the people in our space that were part of that training. That's what makes the industry go around. If you've ever thought about getting involved, whether it's attending or sponsoring or being a vendor, do it. It will change the way that you view the industry. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. A special thank you to Mike for having me on. So excited. I don't get to play the guest very much on podcasts. I'm usually the host, and it's always an honor. But, thank you so much, Michael, and for all of you
No
guys
problem.
listening. Yeah.
Glad to have you
You know,
here. And I was just going to add to your statement, one of the quickest areas for growth, if you're in the industry and to show your value to your owner or your leader of your company, is you may work in this zone here, you may be marketing, but if you're not afraid to spread out and get involved in other things. So when you see jobs coming in, that's how I got started. I got into this industry as a sales guy while I was working on my degree. And all of a sudden we got busy, and it was like, hey, I'll go help. And then I fell in love with the production side. I completely swapped gear, but it increased my value, to my
yeah.
boss, because, Mike can do not just one thing, he can do 2 things, and then Mike could do 3 things, and then Mike could do everything, because
Yeah.
then I helped with the Surf Pro back when they started up in Baldwin County. I helped run everything. It was like me, the owner, and one of his kids. I mean, to start that one, and they had tracked me down, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm up for a challenge. And so everything from billing to, I mean, I've done it all, and but all that did is increase my value and provide more opportunity for me wherever I wanted to move in this world. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to branch out, guys. All
Yeah,
right, Taylor.
don't. And just one last thing I would definitely say, I had the opportunity to use several softwares, the at at the trainings that I've taken part of this year, and I got to work with Mike's team, and they've all been really great. So those are the opportunities that you get to have, or you get to meet the vendors in your space, you get to play with their software technology, but you also get to meet the people. So to Mike's point, invest in your people, but invest in yourself. Whether you're, an owner, operator, or you're a tech, or you're a PM, or whatever the case may be, invest in yourself. And sometimes that means asking the boss, like, hey, can I go do this? Because I will tell you what, in the years that I've been here, I've done a couple of trainings, but this year I've had the opportunity hands on, and it's definitely changed the way I think. It's definitely changed the love that I have for this industry, and it's also shown me how much everybody cares in this space. Like, it's a different type of interaction, and so, to Mike's point, he was able to level himself up, and so all of you guys can too. No matter what the industry looks like, slow, fast, whatever the case may be, you always have time to invest in yourself. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Can't wait to talk again. See you soon.
All right. Talk to you.
This episode is brought to you by Helix Co., the most advanced time and material ecosystem for ROMs, time and material billing, job sharing, with digital records and much more. Check us out at www.helixco.io.